Right, hello everyone, welcome to Roma Theory. Jose is back speaking in a press conference. He will not obviously be available for this game following that Budapest discrimination, I want to call it. But he obviously did release a few interesting things about tomorrow's game. He released a few players which are going to be in the starting 11 tomorrow. He spoke about Sheriff. And then obviously this being the first game back in the tournament, which we were this close in winning last year. There were a few questions about that Budapest final and how the team digested that final, how Mourinho digested that final. Because apart from that post-match immediate press conference which he released, you know, there was a period of silence which Mourinho preferred not to use to speak. And he's back speaking and giving a few more interpretations about that game. Obviously, Korsdorp did speak with him. I am going to start with, I don't usually do this because players don't really say the same things, but I'm going to start with something Korsdorp said because I find it very interesting. In the meantime, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you smash it, we're going to score 5 past Sheriff tomorrow. Right, Korsdorp basically said, after all of the things that happened with me and the manager and the team, I am here to sacrifice myself for this team because I love this team and I will continue to fight for this team. Now, Korsdorp and the way his attitude works, you would never expect him to say this thing after the things which happened with him and the manager. But again, I've said this during this summer transfer window. If we didn't sell Korsdorp, if we didn't manage to sell Korsdorp this summer, and we decided to reintegrate him back in the team, then it only means, one, that things got better and things improved after that fallout with the manager. 2, the manager still sees some potentials in him. And 3, if we decided to reintegrate him back in the team, then we might as well use him. Especially in this case, because Christensen is obviously not included in the UEFA list. So Korsdorp is going to start, confirmed by Mourinho. We're going to get into the few players that he has confirmed are going to start tomorrow. Korsdorp is one of them. And I find this interesting because you wouldn't expect the player to declare such love after falling out with the manager. And you know, the fact that the entire fan base was with the manager because of, you know, how big of his name is in this city, they kind of all turned against Korsdorp. And it's not easy for him, after going through all of these things, to say, I love this team and I will continue to fight for this team. So again, I agree with Daichi. That's a win for Korsdorp. I've always rated Korsdorp. I've always said it. Christensen has had a good game against Empoli, ain't gonna lie, provided an assist and provided that penalty with that cross. But I see Korsdorp a more threatening fullback when he's fit. And I think tomorrow's game can be Korsdorp's game. Definitely more than Cilic. But that's the interesting thing which I found about Korsdorp. Moving on to Jose, because it's the interesting thing. It's obviously the pulp of this live stream. The first question which Jose got asked is a tactical question. Is it possible to see Lukaku and Belotti together again after the 20 minutes they played together and scored a goal, coming from the cohesion between the two in the last 20 minutes against Empoli? And Jose said, I don't want to say who plays tomorrow. I can confirm that Korsdorp will play because Christensen can't play, and because without Smalling, our 4th defender, which will come off from the bench, will be Cilic. I can confirm that Mancini, Llorente and Ndika will play, and I need to have Cilic on the bench as a defender. I will not answer, however, which attackers will play. If you ask me if I prefer to play with 2 attackers, I would answer that one of the 2 needs to be a creative player. That's why we played with El Shaarawy or Dybala in these type of combinations in the past. Right, this is very interesting. Because yesterday in my predicted 11, I inserted both Lukaku and Belotti. And I backed that choice, saying that I think Mourinho is getting intrigued by starting a game with both Belotti and Lukaku up front, following those last 20 minutes against Empoli. But you look what Jose says here, and first of all, he's confirmed that Korsdorp, Mancini, Ndika and Llorente will play. So that's 4 players which he's confirmed out of 11. But you look at what he's saying here, and it probably suggests to me that we will not play with Belotti and Lukaku up front. Because Jose is saying, I like playing with two strikers up front, but one of the two needs to be creative. Therefore, you look at this interpretation and you go, right, it could be Lukaku and Dybala. However, I think it would be a very big mistake to start with their best duo in a game against Sheriff Tiraspol tomorrow. Dybala needs to be kept outside of that pitch as long as is possible. It could be Lukaku and El Shaarawy. It could be Belotti and El Shaarawy. It could be Dybala and Belotti. I think one of these four combinations, in fact, no, one of these three combinations, I really exclude Dybala starting tomorrow. I think it's either going to be Lukaku and El Shaarawy or Belotti and El Shaarawy who are going to start tomorrow. One of the two needs to be creative, according to Jose. El Shaarawy ticks that box. The other one needs to be that bulkiness which brings those physique and those goals, and it's going to be one of the two between Lukaku and Belotti. I'd love to... I don't care who we start. I see positives from both. I put Belotti and Lukaku together. Maybe Jose has a dream of starting both of them tomorrow, and then he does end up starting with both of them. But this is just my interpretation. You look at what he says, and I don't think we are going to start with two bulky strikers up front. One of the two needs to be more technical, who can serve the other one, and the other one needs to think about scoring the goals. So I think El Shaarawy will play. The question will be, will Belotti play or will Lukaku play? But that is the tactical question. I mean, question for everybody here, so that we can interact. Who would you start as an attacking duo following Mourinho's ideas in this response to this question? Would you start Lukaku and El Shaarawy? Would you start Belotti and El Shaarawy? Would you insist and start both Lukaku and Belotti? Or would you maybe put Dybala in the pitch? Or do you think it's better to keep Dybala out? Let me know, because it's an interesting one. Moving on. This is the nostalgic question. After the final in Budapest, with what spirit do you start again after a lost final? What is the goal in Europa League this season? And then, final thing, will Zvilor play? Again, I've always said this. That game literally brings me back nightmares. We need to try and forget about that game. I mean, look, we need to try and forget about that game, but we also need to remember that game and remember what has been stolen from us and restart from that game. But, you know, from a fan's point of view, that game needs to be forgotten. Will it be forgotten? No, it won't. It will forever be in there. And that's why sometimes in a random moment of the day, I get those images of that just flash back in my mind. Unfortunately, we did lose that final. But it's very important to see 4 months from that final, in the first game back in the same tournament of that final, what the manager says. It's a different season, and it's a different competition from the last one. I continue to say until the last day of my career that we did not lose the final in Budapest. I will continue to say this until the day I die. However, it's a new competition, and we need to start from scratch. The objective is to qualify for the next phase. Last year we started with a defeat which created difficulties for us in qualifying as first, but it created difficulties for us to play the playoffs against the Champions League team. That is not easy for a team like ours, which is very busy in the season. If we can win the group, it will be very important. On Zvilor, yes, I can confirm that he will play because Rui Patricio played very well in the last match because we won and he didn't concede any goals. And because it's not because there are minimal criticisms of him. If it hadn't gone well against Empoli, he would have played tomorrow. Look, it's a new season. I will continue to say that we did not lose that final. This use of repeating this is strategic for the team. You know, the fact I can only imagine how many times Mourinho repeats this every single day from the day after we lost that final. From the second we lost that final, when we were all together looking at Seville lifting that trophy, to today's training session, I will bet my hand on a fire flame that Mourinho has repeated this thing every single day. Because the only way a manager can relift the team from a lost final on penalties, which is worse than losing a final in the 90 minutes, is psychologically supporting them. And if you always repeat to them that we did not lose that final, it's not because of us that we lost that final, it's not because of you that we lost that final, that helps the team. And the reason he's repeated this, one, is because he still has that beef with UEFA, which will never stop. He will never, ever defend UEFA, especially after all of these things which are happening between him and the UEFA association. And second reason, because he loves these players, and he needs to. He's the one who needs to lift these players, who needs to lift this fan base from the ruins of that final. And he needs to make these players understand that it's not because of them because we lost that final. That final was a draw. We lost that final because of penalties, or penalties football. Penalties are not football. Anthony Taylor. All of these reasons, repeating them helps. We're back again, from scratch. We will try to be in Dublin in May 2024. Will it be easy? No, it won't. Will it be impossible? No, it won't. It looked impossible last year, and it wasn't impossible. It looked impossible 2 years ago when we lifted that Conference League. It isn't impossible. We've developed, we've evolved in a professional team mentality in these European tournaments. As of now, the objective is to qualify. Very correct in saying that. As of now, we can't even think about the round of 16. Right now, we've got 6 games to play in our group stage. We need to try and win them all, top the league, top the table, and move from there. Right now, the focus isn't on Dublin, semi-final, quarter-final, round of 16 playoffs, if we do end up playing the playoffs. The important thing right now is Sheriff. Then it's Torino. It's one game at a time philosophy. And yeah, look, that's the only way we lift ourselves. That really is the only way we lift ourselves, isn't it? We've also that's the beauty of sports, isn't it? You lose, you win. 4 months have gone. I'm still recriminating that final. But again, I've always said that I really am proud of this community because we've gone through that moment together. And yeah, right, moving on. Sheriff is a modest team. They have a Sheriff is a modest team. You have a top team. How will you face this challenge? We have respect for all of our opponents. We lost 2 years ago, 6-1 against Bodo Glimt, a match that we should have won. We lost last year in the first of the group against Ludogorets. It's never easy to play away in Europe. We play against the opponent, the public, and a special motivation for a team whose objective is to qualify. We are also playing against history because incredible things have been done by Sheriff in the Champions League a few years ago. Respect to everyone. Even though they are weaker, we respect everyone. We fight against everyone. And that's how we carry on points. I'm going to say one thing. Though, and Mourinho's kind of hinted this in his response to this question. The difficulty in these Europa League group stage games isn't the teams, it's the away games. Now, I'll tell you why. And he's kind of hinting this in this response. If you play in the Champions League, you fly to Madrid with a plane, takes 2 hours, you're back the day after. You're back home in the space of 2 hours. When you play against Europa League teams like Sheriff Tiraspol, you need to take a 3-hour plane to Chisinau, capital city of Moldova. Then they have to take a 2-hour bus ride to Tiraspol in the middle of Transnistria. Then you have to play the game. Then you have to do all of that in the way back, return home, and on Sunday evening, you're back playing. This is the difficulty of Europa League group stages. It's not the opponents, it's the away game. It's where you end up playing that it's the tough part. Because it's exhausting. I mean, what Roma is about to do, what Roma did today is effectively my never-ending, once-in-a-lifetime exhausting journey I did with my friends when I reached Budapest. Rome, Belgrade, Budapest, Vienna. I mean, I got back home after that Europa League final. I slept on my bed for at least 2 consecutive days. I was exhausted. Again, there are differences. They're professionals. They do this. But you get the point. And another thing, which I will add, which Mourinho has also added, is we've lost the first game against Ludogorets in the last edition of the Europa League. And they were Bulgarian teams. Eastern European teams are always a pain in the ass to face. Again, I don't think it's the quality of teams. I don't think it's the quality of our opponents. I don't even think it's the atmosphere, unless you play against Red Star Belgrade and all of that. But I don't think Sheriff Tiraspol will have a massive atmosphere. It's just where you end up playing, which is a pain in the ass. I mean, look, with all due respect, this is football. This is what football is about. Exploring these cultures, exploring these teams. And I love it as much as I want to play in the Champions League. But yeah, that's going to be the tough part. And we tend to underestimate these games once in a while. Bodo Glimt, Ludogorets. Hopefully the pattern doesn't continue. Right, we've got one more question to go through. No, sorry, we don't. The thing has ended. The last question, which I did not translate, because I think it was a fairly easy question to translate, was the fact that Mourinho won't be sitting on the bench. He will be watching the game in the stands. He won't be giving indications. He trusts his players. He trusts his staff, and I think we'll win tomorrow. I don't think we're in a position to risk losing tomorrow, especially because it can have counter effects on Sunday's game, which is a very complicated game against Torino away. But Sheriff first, and then our focus will move on to Torino. But yeah, that's the press conference. Let me read some comments. In the meantime, I need everyone in this stream to smash the like button. I said it. If we get 40 likes by the time I end this stream, if everybody right now smashes that like button, Lukaku scores a brace tomorrow, and we score 5 goals tomorrow. I've said it. Nobody believed the 7-0 win. Well, believe the 5-0 win. 40 likes before the stream ends. Right, let's read some comments. We have not lost the Europa League final to Seville, and I will say that until my final day as a manager. Yeah. Ndika passing skills is poor, so no wonder Moon ever started him. Give him time, mate. Definitely give him time. He didn't play that bad against Empoli. He was the weakest of our 3 defenders, but he wasn't bad. Give him time. I think he can be a very interesting centre-back. I would start Belotti and Elsha. I think Mourinho will start Lukaku, Belotti. I think he was honest about his preference to have one creative player, but I think he'll pair them anyway. I'd start Belotti and Stefan El Shaarawy. Simon, I love how Mourinho is so clear in his answer as it gives us the insight of what he thinks. What do you think about Lazio goal yesterday? Depressing. I mean, no, look, I'll be honest. I hate them. They're my biggest rivals. I hate Lazio fans. I hate Lazio and all of that. But that's the beauty of football. I mean, goalkeeper scoring in the last second of the game is a dream. But again, you guys have brought this argument. I'm going to respond to this argument as a Roma fan should respond to this argument. Now, first of all, no. Let's get things clear. I won a European trophy 2 years ago. Was it the Champions League? No, it wasn't. It was the Conference League. Do I care? No, I don't. I lifted that trophy and you made me look like an absolute idiot because I lifted the Conference League. You draw in the first game of your Champions League group stage. You draw. You didn't even win. You drew against Atletico Madrid. I think I am back live. Sorry. I think I am back live. What I was saying is, that's the thing I hate. You see, Okay, it's the Conference League, but I lifted a trophy. Give me credit. You drew against Atletico Madrid. Had you won with the goalkeeper, with your own goalkeeper scoring the winner, I would have given you credits. But okay, great goal. It's everyone's dream, but you didn't win. And again, Atletico Madrid are a great team, but it's not like they're Real Madrid. I mean, Atletico Madrid play worse football than us, if you ask me. They're a great team, though. I'll give them that. But yeah, if you've got more questions about the Lazio game, go find a Lazio fan channel and ask them that. But I'm not sure they have one. So yeah, look, I am going to catch you tomorrow for the live watch along. Set reminder. Stay tuned. Europa League debut tomorrow, so we'll watch it together. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Sorry for this internet connection. It's been terrible all day. Am I back live, by the way? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am back live. Yeah, sorry for this little internet connection thingy, and I will catch you tomorrow. See you all out. Smash the like button, and Lukaku scores 2, and Roma scores 5. I've said it. Get your friends and families to subscribe and like as well. Take care. I'm off to football, and I will catch you very soon. See you all out.